CRA monthly board meeting, Wednesday, March 13th, 2013, at 6:30 p.m. We will open tonight with a call to order, which we have done. We will ask Board Member Mark Carrigeorge to give us the invocation, followed by Vice Chair Mac McCray with the pledge.
This is taken from Mark 10, 27. And Jesus, looking upon them, said, "With men it is impossible, but not with God. For with God all things are possible." With this optimism, we enter a new chapter in our CRA and in our city. And with this excitement, enthusiasm, we are destined, with God's help, to achieve greatness. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will continue now with the roll call. Here. Chair George?
Oh, here.
Chair Hay. She said Chair Hay.
Oh, here. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
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 Here. Thank you very much. That takes us down to item 5, agenda approval. Are there any addition, deletion, correction to the agenda?
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, and so ordered. Takes us down to item 6, informational items and disclosure by board members and CRA staff. And at this time, we will do any disclosures of conflict, et cetera, et cetera. I'll start on my left. Board Member Buchanan.
No disclosures, conflicts, or anything like that. And have 2 informational items. The first one is I would like to thank the current chair and current mayor for the terrific service he's performed during a very tough year in his interim position. I look forward to getting him back as my commissioner in my district.
Thank you.
And the other thing is everybody needs to remember the Red Hot Blues Cruise on April 20th.
Okay.
It's going to be great. Great food, hot peppers, great blues from top clubs like B.B. King's in the Backyard, Boston's and Two Georges, and classic car show, activities at the Schoolhouse Museum. It's fun for all, free community event.
Really going to be real red hot peppers, huh?
Absolutely.
Vice Chair McCray.
Thank you, sir. I have no conflicts, but I would like to say to this board and also to Mr. Carrigeorge, this is my official last meeting. It has been fun, and I will be leaving from the dais, not from the city and not from a seat out there. You all will see me from henceforth. I promise you all I had a nice learning experience, you know what, and guess what? As Mama always said, good things must come to an end, but they don't last always. See you later. Thank you.
Thank you. Board Member Taylor.
I'd just like to ditto what Board Member Buchanan said, Vice Chair McCray and Chair Woodrow.
Thank you.
Mr. Hay.
Thank you.
I want to thank you. You did a fantastic job, and we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Board Member Siegel.
Thank you. I have no disclosures, but I think this really is my last meeting. It's true. I want to say what an honor and a privilege it's been to serve with this board. It's been a fantastic experience, and I also want to thank the CRA staff. They have been terrific. And also, I want to recognize Chairman Hay. Under his leadership, the city, the CRA, and the Chamber of Commerce finally have come together. And I think things happened last night, yesterday, Election Day, the way they were supposed to, and I see great things ahead for Boynton Beach. It's going to be a real exciting time to be here. So, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
I want to thank Chair Sieg. I forgot it was his last meeting. I want to thank you also for filling in. Great job. Thanks.
But I'll be here to help you with your computer.
Board Member Kara George.
Well, I got a few things, as always. Today is one of our city employees' birthday, and that would be Karen Abramson at the library. Karen not only is a great city employee, but she is also an ambassador for our Chamber of Commerce. She's a liaison for Friends of the Library. She does so much for so many, and just great birthday wishes. She keeps getting younger all the time. Secondly, I want to congratulate everybody for the victory last night. I also want to thank each and every candidate that ran. It takes a lot to put yourself through that, and I commend everybody that ran, because it does take a lot, and having been on that end, I can relate to that. Also, I want to acknowledge the Habitat this past Sunday had their 101st house family move into the 101st house at Ocean Breeze West. And it pains me, but Diana Barbosa is going to be moving on from Habitat as their volunteer coordinator. She is engaged and will be leaving in the fall. But she's done great work in getting so many volunteers and so many companies to step up and help with that project. And hopefully that will continue. But it was great being there with the family for that event. In addition to the Red Hot and Blues Cruise on the 20th, the 27th of April, a week later, is Hands Around Boynton, which should be a very good event. That same day, Fire and Rescue have their fishing tournament and chili cook-off. So when you finish with Hands Around Boynton at noon, the chili cook-off is at Boat Ramp Park from noon to 4. So enjoy it, and caution, there are some hot ones out there. And want to congratulate a dear friend, Glenn Jurgensen, on getting the position with the Tourist Development Council as their new leader in our county. And I want to echo many sentiments. Mayor Hay and Chair Hay has accomplished a lot in this year. And not only the alliance with the Chamber and the CRA and the city, but also a wonderful relationship. In fact, our relationship has never been better with the Business Development Board. Instead of their staff having to just bite their tongue when they would hear Boynton, they're now smiling and bragging about Boynton. And that hasn't happened. I can't remember when that has happened. And from people like Gary Hines and Brian Cartland and Kelly, they're singing our praises, and that's only going to continue, and that is really a testament to great leadership and the members of this board as well as the commission. And through trying times, we move forward in leaps and bounds, and I want to thank each and every one of you for that. And that's all, folks.
Chair, I'd like to say a few words to our departing. Deporting. That's how you win. I know you're leaving the country. The chair and vice chair, thank you for your leadership and keeping the helm steady through a lot of things that might have otherwise derailed us. I don't know if the public knows, but the board members do not receive any pay for serving as CRA board members. They do as commissioners, but not as board members. So they serve just totally voluntary. So they give a lot of their time. And Chair Hay has been a great, wonderful leader for staff. He comes in our office. He's a wonderfully warm person. He cares so much about this city. It's amazing. It's great to see. He really, truly cares about this city. I'm glad he's going to stay for another year. And to those who are leaving, thank you for stepping in a time of need when we really needed you, and I really appreciate that from staff. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And to the new ones coming in, I did see Mr. Fitzpatrick step in. The city manager and I met today we're trying to plan a joint CRA and commission meeting, getting everyone up to speed of what's happening, so everybody can kind of get up to speed of what we've been doing, all our good works, and what we're planning. So that's we're looking at the date of April 4th. So a tour on the trolley, and then a lunch, and kind of just not to overwhelm them, but to get them up to speed. So
That's a Friday, correct?
no, I believe it's a Wednesday. Thursday. Yeah, 9:30. We're looking at around 9:30 to 1. Yeah. Well, you're already up to speed.
Okay.
Thank
you very much. Let me just echo a few things that Kara Joy didn't cover. But it has been an absolute pleasure to serve as the chair of this great organization, the CRA board. I've learned a lot. It's almost scary because I enjoy what I'm doing. I really do. And it will be missed, but I'm not going anywhere because I'll still be here right beside Jared Taylor's. I'll be on his right hand here, and we will work together as a team. I would like to share with you, though, that the BDB, Kelly Smallridge was very warm to your city mayor. On Wednesday of last week, I believe it was, there was a little private invitation, and 3 mayors were invited by her. The mayor of Boca, of course, the mayor of Delray, and, of course, the mayor of Boynton. And out of 38 municipalities, she invited the 3 of us. And it was an honor to be there and listen to all of the various consultants across this country talk about their plans and what they look for when they work for the clients that they have to move in their businesses to South Florida. And I must say I became a used car salesman when it comes to selling Boynton Beach. And during my talk with all of them, I got their business cards, and they want to send me, some of them already have, sent me emails about some things that are coming up. And I could go on and on, but I do want to get this night over. But this is the right time for Boynton Beach. It is time for the harvest in Boynton Beach. We have been struggling and derailed long enough. Yesterday is just a continuation of great things to come for Boynton Beach. And I am just happy, ecstatic to be a part of it, because you're going to see some great things happening right here in Boynton Beach. This is our time, okay? And we now have the commission and CRA board members to make that happen. The ones that I've talked to and the ones that have been elected by you, and even the 2 that have a runoff, either one of those could fit in with this commission and move Boynton to the next level that it should be. And as I always say, eyes have not seen and ears have not heard how great Boynton Beach will be with the proper leadership. Thank you. Now, with that being said, let's move on. That takes us down to item 7, announcement and awards. Kathy Biscuiti.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi, Kathy. Excuse me. Just before you start,
Yes.
I just want to serve notice to this commission, to this board, just in case I tap my. I just want to keep it going. That's
No,
you know what I mean.
I'm
Moving on.
Those of you who didn't quite understand the vice chair's remark, just see me afterwards, okay? I'll explain it to you.
Good evening. Kathy Biscuiti, Special Events Director. I want to give you a preview of the upcoming events for the next month. We start this Friday with the Ocean Avenue concert. It's at the Ocean Avenue Amphitheater. And we have Celtic Mayhem. and they're doing their Irish and Celtic music in honor of St. Patrick's Day. We'll have specialty food items from the Little House and special drinks and beverages and snacks, all available for purchase. Bring your folding chairs, blankets, and just camp out. The band is great. We actually had this band, was one of the ones we had at the Pirates Fest, and they were really incredible. So we're looking forward to that. That is from 7 to 9 this Friday. Our next movie is, of course, the first Friday of April 5th, and we are showing Argo. Argo was Best Picture this year. It is an R. It's the first time we're showing an R movie, but we did preview it, and I think that our audience of adults, we really don't get many parents that bring their children to any of our movies. And the movie time is moving to 8 o'clock now because of daylight savings time. So please remember that. The movie on April 5th will start at 8 o'clock. It's Argo. And again, the same restaurants. We have the Little House and we have the youth group that'll be selling drinks and snacks. So moving on from that, the next Sunday, April 7th, is Sunday in the Park. And from 12 to 3, it's at Ocean Avenue Park. That's right on the same block as Hurricane Alley. So we have Hurricane Alley there and the Little House to get lunch or brunch. Come over to the park, bring your folding chairs or blanket, and camp out and listen to Ron Bavona, who sounds exactly like Frank Sinatra. So that will be very interesting and very relaxing for a beautiful Sunday afternoon. Again, that's on April 7th from 12 to 3. Any questions?
Question from the board?
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kathy. And I just want to say that Kathy always does a fantastic job. Many people come and they ask me, well, what do you guys do in your city of Boynton Beach? I say, well, you need to talk to our CRA person. She keeps things going. So, job well done. Okay.
You know, I don't know if anybody's going to talk about this, but we need to recognize these things that's sitting up here. They like to know, what is this? Y'all going to get to this?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll wait.
That takes us down to consent agenda item 8, approval of minutes. Does anybody want to pull any one of the 3 items that are there?
I did want to make one small change on the minutes. Page 2, where I thanked Harry Meeks for holding the walk. It says at Heritage Park. We walked to Heritage Park, not at Heritage Park.
Okay. Okay.
So that's the only change I had. Motion to approve.
Second.
Been moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it and so opposers? Ayes have it and so ordered. Seeing no other items, we'll come down to information items. Number 10, public comment log. We have the media outreach and editorial coverage, recap, merchant seminar, and the Placenton-Timpson stability missing ingredient and improving downtown, the Coastal Star, and then the Palm Beach SFBJ Ultimate. Is there any one of those items that...
I have a couple that I want to pull.
Board Member Carey George?
Yeah, on C, I want to congratulate the staff. I also want to thank Nancy Ernst and others, the other professionals that volunteered their time for that. It was very successful. It also gave us a great chance to show the great work of Margie Walsh and Kathy Biscuiti to the world. And it was very well received. I've gotten some positive feedback on that, and I want to thank them for doing that. On item E, it was nice to see that we have leaders in Boynton that were recognized for the CEO awards. It was also nice to see that a third of the BDB's board was in that, and it was pretty impressive for Palm Beach County to be leading the way for South Florida in the CEO awards. It was very, very impressive, and we should be very proud that we had 2 representatives from Boynton in that.
Chairman Hay,
Board Member Taylor?
I just wanted to comment that, the public doesn't get to read this. We get it as information, but if you read through this, it just is amazing the daily work that our CRA staff goes through to accomplish all that is here in this information. You all do a tremendous job, and that takes a lot of work. The public doesn't get to see that, but we do. By reading through this, we see what you are involved in on a daily basis, and it's just super, and I want to congratulate you for a super job. Well done.
Very good. Any other comments on the information item? Hearing none, we'll go down to item 11, public comments. Anyone wishing to speak on items that are not on the agenda, you have 3 minutes to do so. Please give us your name and address for the record.
David Katz, 67 Midwood Lane, Boynton Beach. First of all, I would buy a used car from you. Just want to let you know. I know there aren't a lot of people here tonight, but I know many people listen to the recording of the meeting. And you can't really but mingle the fact that the CRA board members and the city commissioner are one and the same. So tonight I'm going to speak like Clint Eastwood did at the Republican convention to an empty chair. A mailer came around during the campaign, a negative mailer about Commissioner Taylor. And I'm going to go over the 5 items because I researched them, and I think this needs to go on the record. And I'll speak at the city commission meeting, too, if he bothers to show up. The first one is that Mr. Taylor was investigated by the FBI for pay-to-play, and it references a Sun Sentinel article. Well, I looked up that article, and he was never questioned. He wasn't even investigated. They questioned another commissioner, happened to be Ron Weiland, and Commissioner Taylor just commented on the fact, as mayor at the time, that was routine that they would do that based on allegations that were being made. So he was never investigated by the FBI. And that he voted to raise our taxes and water bills. Well, things do go up, and regrettably, sometimes the commission has to do that to make the money revenue come in. Wasteful spending led to a $16 million projected budget deficit, and that was referenced in the Sun Sentinel article from March 18th of 2009. Not once in that article was Commissioner Taylor quoted as saying that, or the article mentioned, was there any wasteful spending. There was a budget projected deficit. Well, heck, my house was once worth $385,000. Now it's worth about $200,000. The deficit was because the ad valorem taxes were going down. And when Mayor Taylor left office, before the suspended mayor took office, there was close to an $11 million surplus. So I don't know where that came from. Another lie. And he voted to spend $15 million to move the downtown police station to a strip mall. Well, that's not true either. But the last one is one of the reasons why I'm here, because it referenced me. Appointed lobbyist fined by the city to an advisory board. Well, the minutes reflect, and these are minutes approved by Mr. Holtzman, show that my appointment was motioned by Mr. McRae and seconded by the mayor, and the dissenting vote was by Mr. Holtzman. And I was appointed to the P&D board that meeting. Subsequent to that, later in the meeting, is when the appointments of the city commission happened. So Mr. Taylor did not vote on that. This is not Mr. Holtzman's first go-around. I'm going to file an elections complaint. It's obvious that he violated Florida Statute 106, and I'm going to look forward to doing it. And I'm really happy about the results last night. Thank you.
Thank you. Amen.
Sherry Johnson, Community Caring Center, 145 Northeast 4th Avenue, Boynton Beach. I wanted to come this evening and thank you very much for your sponsorship for the Hunger Walk. It was probably the most successful Hunger Walk that we've had. We had 27 sponsors and we raised almost $13,000 for that event. So all of that money will be spent to support our senior Vegemobile program and to purchase food during the summer when we really have a problem. So we wanted to give you shirts. I may not know your sizes, so I brought some extra ones. So if you have the wrong size, then let me know and I can exchange it for you quickly.
Thank you.
We want you to wear that in Argentina. No, Guatemala. Guatemala.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
What are you leaving?
April 3rd.
Third. Well, good for you. Good.
Extra, extra, extra large. I'm just kidding.
Now, they run small, so if you take a large, you got an extra large.
I'll fit it. Mayor,
Get the mayor.
Commissioner Taylor,
got
you get one.
Oh, he got his, along with his Hunger Walk hat.
And Sherry,
Yes.
real quick, I want to let everybody in the audience know that this is an annual event,
This-
and
yeah.
I've been involved with it for 6 years out of the 12 I've lived in the city, and I will tell you the turnout was really nice. The canned goods that were collected, the dollars that were collected, it was very uplifting. It was cold. It was cold. Okay.
brisk.
And I want to acknowledge our chair and myself for braving the cold and participating this year. We had a great turnout. It really was nice, and I want to commend you for another successful year. And next year we'll make it even bigger.
I hope so. We added a new component this year with a kickoff concert. That was just amazing. Park Vista was there, as well as Santa Lucia's. Park Vista had just won the Battle of the Bands semi-annual round and was now going to their final competition. We had a couple of soloists. It was just blow the roof off. And if you have not been to the First Baptist Church, we were booted from the amphitheater because of a movie going on that evening. But we are so grateful that that happened, because we wouldn't have held this at the First Baptist Church. And it is just the most exquisite facility for hosting an event like this. So we're going to go back there next year. We've been invited, and make that concert even better. And we're hoping to extend Ocean Avenue by perhaps adding a art show for that day, or perhaps a car show to piggyback on, so that that event just sort of lingers and brings in more people and push them down the avenue. So we'll be back with a proposal for some support. And I'm happy to see you have that application process working on it. And I thought that that was really a wonderful idea that you did. There was really no hard feelings on our part. We understood completely. And I think that process is going to really be very helpful. So again, thank you. I'm headed to the Women's Circle for their event this evening, but if you need to exchange T-shirts, let me know. I'll be happy to do that for you. Thanks again.
Thank you. Thank you. Seeing no other, I'll close public comments. And that moves us down to item 13, old business. A, consideration of adoption of special events grant and aid program and application process.
Well, what a timely item. Thank you to Board Member Siegel, who found this in Titusville. I'm not sure if they're still doing it, but this is, it was really helpful to us to frame out, to kind of get an idea. I had wanted to bring this to the board for next fiscal year, this idea of kind of having a process rather than, kind of making it willy-nilly as it is now. But this actually helps staff too, and I think it will help the board make a better decision, and I think it will help the applicants make a better special event. We actually have to have a legal nexus to support special events, both for ourselves and for other groups. We can't just hold special events because we like to hold special events. There has to be an economic reason that would benefit the area, and then it has to be where we're spending our money for improvements. where we've done our improvements for, say, the amphitheater, the little house, the marina, that's where we have to promote special events, not in areas where we haven't done that. So that's the legal nexus. So as you look through this, you'll see that there's a map to it, so it defines that area. So they have to have their event within that area. Basically, they would have to say how the event would help the area, help the downtown, help the merchants, that kind of thing. How does it tie into the downtown master plan does support events, special events, for that reason. And essentially what we did is, this said come once a year for funding, but I think that's probably overly ambitious to expect that groups will do that once a year rather than throughout the year. Just having been here at the time I have, I don't think that would probably happen. So I think it's okay if they come. We did say they have to come at least 6 weeks prior to the event, so we have time to process the application and get it on the board agenda.
How long?
6 weeks prior. And then they have to do, at the end, after the event is over, they have to actually do a report saying what is the attendance, photos of the event, and what was the impact of the event. So they actually have to do a follow-up. It's not just they get the money. They have to match funds. There has to be a match to our funds, similar to our economic development programs. So they're not just saying, we want you to pay for our event. It's not like that. So there has to be a match. They have to show they have a match. The money is reimbursable. Now, I don't know if that's what you want, but that's how our grant programs are. In other words, they have to do the event, turn everything in, and then get paid. So the onus is on them to go out and to fundraise. So I don't know if you want to keep that way, but that's how we wrote it. Because I think a lot of groups do get dependent on funding from us, and they don't actually go out and fundraise. They don't attempt to go out and fundraise. And I know fundraising is hard. I've done it myself, and it's not easy. But if you have a good event and it's a great idea, I think you will find sponsorship dollars out there. It's not easy, but you can find them. We were fortunate to get some good sponsorship in the past for our own events, and I think that we'll hopefully be doing that again.
There's one thing that when Sherry was speaking just came to mind that we need to add in there, that an event that we are sponsoring through this program cannot conflict date-wise with one of our events.
It does say that in there.
It does?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one thing that
Yeah.
it's happened twice in the history of the CRA, and that's when I read that, I knew that was in there. And
One other comment, Vivian, on the form. Would it be not advisable to state that they need to have this form in 6 weeks prior to their event?
Yeah, it does
right
say
on the
that.
form?
It does. In the, let me tell you where it is. For fiscal year 2012-13, all funding requests will be eligible for review if the event is no less than 6 weeks.
Is that on the actual form?
Yeah, it's on page...
Procedure number 3.
I'm looking at
procedure
119.
number 3.
Huh?
Procedure, under procedure, it's item number 3. If you go to page 2 of the actual form, and it says procedure underlined, item page 116.
What page?
116 in the PDF.
and then it's item 3 under procedure.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I like to make thank you. I like to make a comment, and that is that having read from several cities that's south of us who's gotten in trouble about the CRA funding and how they was using the money and stuff, I think this is wise. It's a step that needs to be in place so that we could four-step anything that might happen, because a couple of cities south of us are in deep, deep trouble for misusing CRA funds, and we don't want the city of Boynton to get a bad eye. I noticed that when people was coming to us, we tried to do everything possible, but having read what they've gone through now, we're going to have to be more cognizant and saying that we need to have things in place to tighten up the reins so if we ever audited by anybody else from the outside, that we will have all our I's dotted and all our T's crossed. I thank you all for doing this. Thank you.
Here.
Chair Joyce?
Motion to accept the staff recommendations and approve it of creating a special events grant and aid program and application process for providing funding to nonprofits and other groups to hold events within the downtown area.
Second.
Second for discussion.
Been moved and second discussion. Board Member Taylor?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I just had, my question was when it said that they would have to go out and get all the money for the event and do it, and then we reimburse them after the fact. I guess I'm a little confused there because let's say that I want to do an event and it's cost $5,000. So the way you're telling me, it sounds like I'd have to go out and raise the $5,000, and then after it's all over, you're going to reimburse me, I assume, half of.
Yeah, we just took that right out of our grants. Yeah.
Well, but I don't quite understand how it works because I would have to, in order to say I was going to hire a band or whatever I'm doing, but I'd have to have the $5,000 to do that up front, and then so when you give me the $2,500, I've already raised the $5,000, so you're giving me a $2,500 extra than what the event cost. I don't quite understand how that would work. It sounds like you would raise $2,500 and we'd give you the other $2,500, so you'd have the $5,000 for the event.
But if I may, part of that is where you can incur the expense, okay, and be billed for it. You haven't outlaid the cash. You've raised funds, and you're going to have to prove. And what I like about this is it is consistent, it is fair, it matches all of our other grant policies, it's in compliance with statute. It is. I mean, I don't know if Jim read this or not, but one of the things that I did was I pulled out the statute when I read this and matched it up to make sure that we were being consistent, fair, because this is a grant, and our build-out assistance is a grant, our facade grant is a grant, and so on. And one of the things that with the Inspector General for the state is doing is auditing special taxing districts, because the governor instructed them to do that, and so did the legislature. And if we deviate and make an exception on this, it could bring what Vice Chair McCrae was saying. From an audit standpoint, they would say, well, wait a second, you're not consistent on your grants. So the money that you gave to these organizations, they need to have to repay it. Or vice versa, this should not have been issued, that type of thing. And one of the things that I commend Vivian on doing, and Wayne, the Titusville model was a great starting point, but matching it up with statute, matching it up and having it match with our grants, that's why I was very supportive of this. The other thing is a lot of that you can negotiate. For example, you have expenses with the city where you're going to be paying for police, you're going to be paying for fire rescue, etc. You may be able to say, okay, we'll pay this in 30 days and sign a promissory note with the city to that effect, and then when the reimbursement comes in, you're able to pay it, that type of thing.
So basically, the person that's going to do the event would come in ahead of time, and they'd say, well, we got this event for $5,000, but we need you to give us half of that. So we would say we'd give you this grant, assuming you're going to make that.
Yeah, and a lot of times, like the city services, they don't bill you till after the event.
Okay.
So, and typically police and the
okay. I just want to be that clear, because some people want their money up front.
Right.
You'd have to have some people that are going to wait for it.
And I would encourage
so
our money. Typically, I would encourage our applicants to pay for the city services.
Yeah.
Ask us because they're going to have it on a city road. They're going to have the fire and the police typically, and so for the city services pay for that.
Good point.
So a lot of times, and we can change it too if they absolutely need the money. We can put it in the cover letter that this has to be paid in advance, and they don't have the cash right now. Maybe they have in kind. Maybe they got a lot of in kind. A lot of people get in kind, especially nonprofits. So there's some things that we could be somewhat flexible in there. I'm asking them to do a budget, which they never give us a budget. I mean,
I agree with that.
So we're asking for a little more accountability, which I think is a good thing. But we do ask our grant recipients on the other to pay up front and then get reimbursed. So maybe it might be onerous for some groups, and I guess we can make that decision as they come forward.
I know it's probably obvious, but everybody does not do a good event budget. We're giving them examples because I've seen some that were totally unacceptable as far as I'm concerned. You're going to kind of school them as for what you're looking for?
Yes, we'll actually give them an Excel spreadsheet and show them how to do it. Kathy's got great ones, examples, and this is something that should be easily able for anyone to look at when the auditor comes in too. What did we give our money for, and what did we get? So.
Any further discussion?
Yes.
Vice
Go ahead.
Thank
Vice
you.
Chair?
No, I'm just glad that we're being covered just in case we are audited. I'm totally in favor.
We are audited.
I know we are, but I just said at the state.
We just
level,
had our
those books.
fourth year in a row of successful audits.
Yes.
Board Member Buchanan.
My only comment is in that point 9 under that procedure, maximum funding per event per group per year
5,000.
is $5,000 for maximum of 3 years. I'd like to see something, unless otherwise approved by the board, because this is kind of like the old joke of the high school quarterback gets hurt and the coach puts in the second team quarterback, tells him first down, you go out and run right, second down, run left, third down, run right, fourth down, punt. So he takes the ball, first down, runs 25 yards, second down, runs left, runs 25 yards, third down, runs right for another 30 yards. He's on a 10-yard line. He punts. So, and basically that's what we're saying here. I mean, we have to be able to say somebody brings us a Sunfest, and all of a sudden we get this fabulous event. We need to be able. So I just say
Okay.
I'd just like to see added to that, unless approved otherwise by the board. I think would be
Okay.
sufficient.
And I'll amend the motion to include that.
Okay. Any further discussion by the board? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries unanimously. 13B, consideration of funding of special events grant program up to $5,000 for remainder of FY 12-13. Did we just?
This is just the funding component for the program for the remainder of the year. I think we've got some floating out there, maybe not. If not, it'll just roll into the program for next year. But if somebody wants to come forward for the remainder of the year to do some events, then we have some funding in there.
Move approval.
Second.
Moved and second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries unanimously. 13C, consideration of additional amendments to executive director's contract.
This came out through discussion between Jim Charoff, myself, and Tim Harris in finance. My contract had actual numbers of sick time and leave time as of the time I became CRA director. And I asked how come that is, and there really wasn't an answer. And Tim Harris said, well, there really shouldn't be that because it changes every 2 weeks. You're accruing hours, you're using hours, and the hours of sick and leave for staff are maintained by city HR. So it really didn't make any sense. And I said, well, could we just take that out? And we thought we should take it out administratively. Then we said, well, we'll bring it to the board. And then the other thing that really we thought we could take out administratively was my salary had changed from October 1. So those are just two things. They're administrative changes. The first one is Section 4.0, just making it consistent with the CRA's leave policy, which Susan Harris sent you, and it's actually the hard copies on the dais. It's just saying that the paid leaves policy will be what I go by, which the attached here is, it's basically what our policy is, and it's my leave and sick will be consistent with the CRA's leave policy. So that was that was good with legal, and that was good with Tim Harris. So,
Mr. Chairman, since that's consistent with the policy all the way around, I'd like to move that we approve the recommended changes.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Ayes have it and so ordered. Motion carries unanimously. That takes us down to item 14, new business. A, consideration of creating an audit committee for the purpose of selecting an independent auditor. Susan?
Harris, Finance Director. This is the first step in the process of a new RFP for auditors. Our 5-year contract has ended with our current auditors, and Florida statute requires that an audit committee be established solely for the purpose of assisting the board with reviewing applicants and evaluating and ranking those applicants and bringing it back to you, the RFP results, for review and approval. So the recommendation is the audit committee for the CRA be the executive director, the finance director, and the finance assistant. And at that, if you approve that, we will then issue an RFP very shortly and bring the results back to the board, I'm hoping in May.
Names again, slow.
Finance director, Susan Harris. Finance assistant, Vicki Hill. Executive director, Vivian Brooks.
Chair,
Thank you.
make a motion to approve the recommendation to approve the audit committee consisting of the finance director, executive director, and finance assistants for the purpose of recommending a CPA firm to conduct the annual audit.
Second.
Been moved and second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries unanimously. Item 14B, consideration of performance audit and deferral payment release to PRH Boynton Beach LLC for the property known as Casa Coastal, formerly the Promenade.
This is, as you know, we are in a direct incentive funding agreement with PRH, Boynton Beach, formerly Boynton Waterways Associates, for essentially their performance under this agreement is to lease 10% of the retail space at that property at below market value, and they have to present an audit from a certified public accountant, which they did present that to us, that was indeed being done, that it was being marketed. So they showed LoopNet and they showed those things. Susan went through it, and it's an acceptable report. It's basically what they've given us every year. So it met the guidelines of the funding agreement, and we recommend paying the payment for this year. I can tell you that I have met with their new leasing agents for the retail, and I feel very confident we will see a better result than we have seen. And they have actually, they're coming in with some plans for access through the North Tower and the South Tower through the parking structure. And I think you're going to see some good results because of that. And they have a very aggressive young team on the leasing side of it. So,
Mr. Chair,
Question from the board, Board Member Taylor.
make a motion to approve, or motion to accept the performance audit and approve the DIFA payment of $399,345 to the PRH Boynton Beach LLC.
Second for discussion.
It's been moved and second. Discussion, Vice Chair.
Thank you,
McCray.
sir. Vivian, under the lease agreement, how many spaces have been already leased out?
currently there are none leased out
Is that
right
right?
now. But at the time of this, there was Happy Garden, which was on the very north end. That was leased out. But Happy Garden kind of left in the middle of the night very recently. So, but under the DIFA, the language is something to the effect of they have to attempt to lease. It's not they have to lease. So that kind of sticks us in a not very good position. But they do want to lease it. Related is very interested in leasing it because they feel it will lead to success with selling the units. And having that vacant, they don't feel is good for the project and their sales.
Okay, how many years have we been paying this?
This is the fourth payment. No? Third?
This is year 3.
Sorry, I was close.
For the 3,300.
The first year we paid them approximately $150,000. Second year, $400,000. This year it'll be almost $400,000. It's 47.5% of the tax increment revenue that we receive from the development.
And for how many years?
10 years total.
That's the part I need to know.
What we did get, just so the public knows, what we did get as a result of this agreement, which is not part of the ongoing agreement, is permanent public parking in the garage. So that stays there. No, not 200. 100 and I think 110 public spaces are in that garage. So, but that is not an ongoing thing that we have to audit because they're there in perpetuity.
Right. Well, I'm just glad that, the public, they are aware now that we are receiving something for these funds. I'm just saying, that's the part I needed to hear for them to hear. I'm good. Thank you.
Any further discussion?
Yes.
Chair Jordan. No, okay.
The clock goes first.
I just wanted to comment that last year I questioned whether or not we should pay this on the basis of good faith performance. I mean, you can perform, but there has to be good faith, which I was not particularly impressed with last year. However, I think that we're in a different situation now, so I'm not, at this point, I don't have that concern.
Okay. Chair Jordan?
Yes. Going from the previous retailing leasing group to Neil Marin's group is it's kind of like going from the outhouse to the penthouse, okay? Neil's experience and his guys, they're aggressive. They're not going to commit to anything until it's pretty solid, but they're going to work their tails off to get people in there. And they've been doing this for over 20 years in Palm Beach County, and very successfully. And with Jorge Perez and his group having access to a lot of foreign investment connections, it will definitely help fill things up. But one of the things that Jorge Perez will want to do is he will want to benefit those living in those towers with retail discounts down below and have it as a benefit for those tenants. And obviously he will be pushing Neil Marin and those guys to fill that up. So it's not going to happen overnight, and everybody that thinks that it is, it doesn't happen that way. But in time, within a year or so, you're going to start seeing more things in there, and I truly believe that based on having watched both of these entities in Related and in Neil Marin's group, they're very good, and I think that I too questioned, like Mr. Buchanan did last year, and really scrutinized the movements, as Vivian reiterated this time. It was kind of like the old Baltimore Colts when they left Baltimore, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm optimistic. We are obligated under the way the agreement was written. None of us were on that board when that was written, and so we have to live with it for the next 7 more years. So, motion to approve.
We do have a motion on the floor.
Yep.
Any further discussion on this? Michael?
Board Chair Mike Simon, Development Director for the CRA. I think that it was the discussion has been good regarding the DIFA payment, and I think Vice Chair McRae's comments on the public being aware of what they're paying for and getting that. One of the things that hasn't come out in the discussion that the public might not see that you see, which I think is an incredibly important and a significant fact, as these DIFAs are written, as we enter into agreements with developers and discussions with them, which we had about a 2-hour discussion today with a potential developer, coming to Boynton, looking at Boynton. In 2004, which is all in your backup, the assessed property value in 2004 was $119,000. The assessed value in 2012 is $71 million. That TIF throw-off then to the agency, had we not had the DIFA, is $840,000 to the agency based on that increment. That is a job well done. Had we not incorporated those leasing elements, which at that time we thought we were helping those existing businesses get back into and stay where they were, along with the parking, So if you look at it in kind of an investment into the site and into the project, I think it softens a little bit of that. That's the incentive back to that developer to come to Boynton as opposed to somewhere else. So if we look ahead at some of the other sites that we have laying in wait, and maybe not all of them, we've learned a lot from every contract. You learn how to protect yourself a little bit better, what you want as a community better. The leadership becomes more experienced. I think that it's a significant project, and when you look at those types of valuation increases for those projects, it's just huge. It's fabulous for Boynton. So I just wanted to bring that out in the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries unanimously. Takes us down to 14C, consideration of removing Olmo Smith from HAP mortgage deed per dissolution of marriage and mediation agreement.
One of our HAP recipients, and basically she is getting divorced, and she needs to remove her ex-husband from the documents, our documents. She's staying in the home, but she basically has to remove her husband's name from our documents, and that's really all it is.
I understand. I motion it.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Discussion. You would like to say something?
Yes, I would. I also have to do this through the bank, and I know that...
Name and address.
Name and address for the record.
Oh, sorry. Kimberly Smith, 28A Crossing Circle, Boynton Beach, Florida.
And you can bring the microphone down to... Yes.
I also have to do this through the bank, and I know that the terms that I'm not supposed to refinance my home, but I might have to in order to get his name off my mortgage through the bank. So I just like approval to do that. I'm not trying to get any more money out. I can't. It's
We understand.
We understand. Thank you very much.
$25,000 value.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Any further discussion from the board? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, and so ordered.
Thank you.
Motion passes unanimously. Takes us over to item 15, Executive Director Report. Does anyone have any questions on the report? Does the Executive Director care to make any comments?
They're moving along. We're busy.
On the first one.
Yes.
Yep.
You don't have to remind her.
On the first one, the installation is now scheduled for the week of the 18th of this month.
Lights, Ocean Avenue lights. I believe we're next week. Yeah, next week. Yeah, which is the 18th.
Next week, right?
Yeah, the brackets have been created. We've received them this week, Thursday, I think, the 14th, and then we have the lift scheduled for the 18th through the last week of March. So we'll begin that process.
What I think is going to be interesting and to the public, when you come to the movie Argo, by that point, which is the first Friday of April, you will see lights in the trees along Ocean Avenue. And this project, Mike, I commend you because this has been not
the bane of his existence.
Definitely an out of the box project.
Yeah, I mean this on paper looks so simple, and then in reality had to be the most frustrating time you've had recently on any project.
Debbie's been a great help, and so with Glenda. So it's been a
and
collaborative effort.
I mean,
in the city and us.
Me, I would have been chopping down trees by this point. But I want to commend you because that's going to enhance Ocean Avenue, and it's going to make it more attractive in the evenings for our businesses, especially the restaurants. And I'm looking forward to it. And when I saw there was a delay, I got a little nervous because I've been telling people by the end of March. And so
our bracket manufacturer is a very highly specialized bracket, so we just had to go with what we had to go with.
We also had an Go ahead.
I just was wondering, I also had on my here, which we didn't discuss, was under 14C or something, was different on this. On
we had a revised agenda.
Revised it because it was a consideration of that agreement with West Construction.
Right. We pulled that under revised. We sent that out revised.
Okay.
Because of the RFP for that property that's on, we're going to hold that back. And the price is good for 90 days under West Construction.
Make sure we didn't miss something tonight.
Right.
Good evening. Margie Walsh, Marketing Director. Vice Mayor McCray, just wanted to clarify the signs in front of the board members are examples of our billboard that's currently being shown on I-95.
Can we turn them around for the public to see, please? Thank you.
one of our media partners for the Breeze into Boynton campaign is CBS Outdoor Billboards. So we've had billboards running since January. They'll run through the end of April. They're on I-95 at 6th Avenue facing southbound traffic, and they rotate every 9 seconds with all our different promotions. This month we're focusing on events for the month of March. Last month was arts. January was the marina. So those are just little examples. I put cars there to show the size of the cars.
And if you haven't seen them, they are incredibly beautiful. They are really amazing. Really, when you see it on paper, you not really sure how it's going to look. But when you see it on 95, it's really beautiful.
And right now it's at Celtic Mayhem, and I saw it on my way to tonight's meeting because I was up in West Palm prior to coming down here.